All right, class, here's part 2 of this worksheet. Want to make sure we do this correctly. So in part 2, you're going to be gathering resources. Highlighted a few things here I want to point out. In part 2, you're going to use, as it says in the directions, the GCU library to find 3 peer-reviewed articles, okay, research articles. That's what peer-reviewed sources mean. Now, a lot of students will ask, why not Google? Why not Google Scholar? That's because the university pours thousands of dollars into articles that you will not have access to on just a regular search online. Okay, so you're limiting yourself on articles found online. You cannot use websites. Websites will result in no credit. So if you have 3 websites listed down here as a source, you're going to get a 0 for part 2. That's going to be at least 50% of this assignment. And of course, don't even list one website. The best is to find a GCU library. It's easy to use. It's just probably not common for you. And the reason why you use peer-reviewed is because a panel of experts got together and picked apart the research article. They validated the study to make sure that the instrument used to gather the data is accurate and correct. It's not misleading. They follow ethical guidelines. The results depict the answers of what was given by the participants. And so the discussion is actually laid out properly. Also, peer-reviewed viewers look at each and every citation that the researcher uses on the article. They actually go read that article to validate if that article backs up what they're citing on the research article. So there's a lot going on. And then you only want to use articles within the last 10 years, okay? Studies done 20, 30 years ago or past 10 years are irrelevant. Studies done on some of these topics here, like abortion, marijuana, the arguments over 10 years ago, especially 20, 30 years ago, are pretty irrelevant to today since some states have it legalized. It's legalized drug for medicinal purposes, and then there's a wide variety of arguments for and against abortion now compared to years ago. And even with psychology topics that I teach, like narcissism today is way high compared to 20 years ago. The internet's helped with that with social media, so everything's changed. Okay, so you're going to use the library. Notice how on this first section here where it says thesis subtopics, I have my subtopics listed here. Okay, if you remember, if you go back up, you'll see them right here. Okay, so I list them accordingly. All right, so I'm going to take this first subtopic and I'm going to go to the GCU library, library.gcu.edu. Notice how it says ask a librarian right here, and if you scroll down, it shows the hours, okay? Even though it has building hours and different hours here when it comes to ask a librarian services, you could use it. There's also tutorials down here. There's a way to find a better way to contact the librarian. I'll show you in a second. But what you're going to do is you're going to find journal articles. You're going to click on this, and you can be brought to this page. Now, this is the spot to find the librarian's phone number. So I've had students say, well, you know, I'm going to be 2 weeks late on this assignment because there's a webinar in 2 weeks on how to use the library. Well, you're going to get a 0 with no chance for points because the assignment's due Sunday, and anything past 10 days is a 0. So you don't want to be late. So in that case, you call. Okay, so you could email, chat, video, do other stuff, but if you're late, you're late. So you have to call. So if today is Wednesday and you're like, I want more training on the library, call. So after I take the copied words, I come over here and paste them. I want to make sure I click on peer reviewed box, okay, because I want peer reviewed articles. Now when I click on search, it's going to take me to a search engine, the library search, and it's going to show me that nothing was found. And that really freaks students out at times. Okay, that's because you need to use these boxes here. All right, so obviously we're trying to see what's going on with violent video games and how it can help, how it influences acting out by children. So I'm going to just put line by line, but I'm just going to do, since I know I want to talk about video games and children, I'm probably going to do this, and I'm probably going to find stuff about behavior stuff. So I refine the search, and also you can verify too, is my peer-reviewed box clicked? Yep. All right, so I click search, and it brings me to 607 articles. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But remember, this is spanning from a wide variety range of years because I want to make sure I come here and I put the dates only 10 years apart. So I press 2011, press enter, and now I got the 346 articles that I can look at. Okay? So as you see, look at this, the effects of violent cooperative multiplayer games on children's basic psychological needs and prosocial behavior. That looks good as far as a topic to choose from. Here's the one I use an example right here. But if you notice here, look at this, aggressive behaviors, effects of violent video games, aggressive behaviors. So there's a lot I could use. Now I want to show you how here, it shows how I can access the article here because you can also click on PDF full text, which gives you the actual article, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to click on the actual article you want. So let's say I chose this one. Now, if I scroll down, I see the abstract, I see the researchers' names right here, okay? And I see all the information as far as the source and stuff. Now, when I want to access the article, I can click on these three things. So sometimes you got to request. So if it's an article you really want, request ahead of time. If not, find a different one. So I'm going to try this one here and see if it gives me access. And it does. So if you look at it, this article sometimes takes a minute to load, but this one already loaded, and it's going to give me the whole article. And notice how there's a methods section where they're talking participants, what was used, that kind of thing. But I can also click on View PDF if it gives it to you, because I want to make sure that the article does give me that I can access the article and I can save it too on my desktop. Okay, but to fill in this information, you want to make sure you use this page here. Okay. So one of the first spots that you're trying to fill out on this worksheet is title and author. Okay. So I always tell students the best way to get that is by clicking on this cite thing here. Okay. Now the cite part actually also gives you access to this APA reference list as well. All right. So what I'll do is I'll click cite, and notice how there's a variety of different citations, right? There's Harvard, there's MLA, there's Chicago, but what you want is APA 7th edition. Hopefully it says APA 7th edition. And you just need this right here. Okay, you don't necessarily need the DOI information. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to first do the reference, and then I can also take the authors and do that. So I just killed two birds with one stone. Now this middle part right here, writing 50-word response, is you'll summarize the article and how it relates to your subtopic. I'm just showing you that you can keep typing. Keep typing, make sure. Okay, so you're just going to type in a box, make sure you get over 50 words. Pretty simple, right? Permalink. Okay, the permalink means it gives you access to this article, okay, when you want it. Now you can come here and you could try to use the link to this, but it's not going to take you there. If you ever try to copy and paste the link from here and try to click on it later, it's going to take you to a dead end. Okay, the best way to access it is right here, permalink. Click in the box, copy it, come to the worksheet, click in here, paste, and then press enter. And the reason why is so that you can click on it, takes you directly to the article, which would be right here at this spot. That's pretty simple, right? And then when you want to go back to your search, you can just click the back arrow and go back to your search. A lot of times I tell students what you can do to not lose your spot is right click and then open. So it opens up a new window. So you kind of save where you're at on this page. That's just another way of looking at it. And then you'll do the same thing for each of the three. That's it. Pretty basic, simple process. If you have any questions about this, please let me know.